Okay, let me show you something. See this, I saw it earlier. I saw it this open close level. I saw it earlier, but I purposely ignored it. The reason is because I was not expecting price to come all the way up anymore. I wasn't expecting price to come here again, because as price tapped here, remember, it was a time-based model, so we're expecting the 4-hour candle to sell. All right, and how do I know? Well, it's by understanding the institutional levels, and to be able to know when that's invalid, so that was how I was able to know that we're going to sell. So if you know that the 3 p.m. candle GMT plus 1 time now is going to sell, what does that tell you? It tells you that with higher probability, you have cancelled a lot of confusion, at least by 50%, by half, right? So for example, I knew that I'm going to sell, so I'm not seeing any buy setup. Anything buy, I don't want to see it. In fact, anything buy becomes a threat and a reason for me not to even take the sell, right? So once you know that, it's going to give you an ideology. All right, so enough said, let's go and do other stuff. There's one more stuff I want to show us. Now take a pen. Are you guys with me? Confirm again.
So we are with
Okay, I thought I'd missed you. Now you already know the different types of sessions. Now, of course, today I'm not going to teach us about timing. I'm not going to teach us about timing, and the timing I talk about is not the regular one. It's quarterly theory, but it's not going to be treated as the popular quarterly theory that we know. All right, but today I will share with you another of my model. I have like 6 model, like solid ones, like 6 solid models. So for example, the model I want to teach you guys right now, it did not play out. It did not play out today. No, the model I'm about to teach you, okay, probably did, but maybe in London session. All right, so that's just one of my models. So I have up to like 6 solid model that I use. MSnR. Now, all of these models, there is a mixture of MSnR and ICRT in all of them, except for one. So today I will teach you. What will I teach you now? I will teach you model 2. Let me teach you model 2. How about that? All right. Now, this model 2 is very powerful. All you need to is learn, take a pen and go to your chart and study. Okay, I said take a pen. Some of you, I know you did not take any pen. Oh. You just want to watch, but you need to take a pen. Sincerely speaking, it will help you, because me personally, if I'm studying, I also take a pen. Like, I also study with pen. Like, I have countless of journals that I have pinned down my different stuff that I study, right? All right, so what's the model all about? Now I'm going to teach you about, this is model 2, one of my models. Creep. You need to rejoice. Because it can change the way you see the market. This is Kume Pips ICRT, right? Reclaimed ICRT. How many of you know what reclaimed order block is? You know what reclaimed order block is already, right? Do you know what reclaimed order block is? If you know what reclaimed order block is, then this will become a bit easier for you to understand. Okay, so what's the logic behind it? Like I said, I want to teach you. So I'm going to ignore every other model of mine that I see on the chart, just in the bid to show you the particular one I want to show you. So first thing that you want to do is you need to come to there. Let me okay, so first thing that you want to do is you want to stay on the 1 hour time frame. Take note, you don't need 4 hours, you don't need daily. Of course, you need 4 hours. I will explain what you need it for. Okay, you need it for this particular model. There are some of my model I don't even need to go to any time frame other than staying on 1 minute, but this particular one, this is the Comepis model 2, ICRT model 2. So what we want to look for is we want to look for creek. So like I said, creek is reclaimed ICRT. For those of you who don't know what ICRT is the inverse boundary theory. All right, is the inversion of the CRT. So for example, we have this as CRT. Agree with me, right? This is CRT. When that CRT is violated, this becomes an CRT. We say that again for the purpose of those who are totally new to the channel. For of course, this is a live session, but I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So this is a CRT, is selling CRT, right? And this is what the failure of that CRT. So automatically this becomes what? This becomes our ICRT. Okay, so that's exactly what ICRT is. That's exactly what ICRT is. Now that you understand what ICRT is, let's talk about the MFP reclaimed ICRT. Now, I don't know, you need to flow with me. You might say, oh, what are these plenty names for? The names are not for you. The names are for me. They tell me what I'm looking for. They help me to mark my charts because I take my time to study the charts. Although I know how to trade already, but I still spend a lot of hours to study the chart. So if you're watching this video right now, you think, oh, you just want to watch and you want to make money, good luck. But you see, beyond making money, watch, learn, understand, backtest, learn, forward test, and make money. All right. So I do all of this so that I personally can have a good understanding of the chart anytime. So for example, if I come to the chart, I know what I'm looking for, not because I cannot call it a generic name as it were. I can, but I do this for my own good. Anyway, how will I call it a generic name when it's not a generic strategy? When it is my own strategy, right? So I'm saying this because of people who knows how to comment unnecessarily, right? Who know how to make unnecessary comment that shouldn't be made, right? So this is ICRT. Now, very interesting. Where is our creek? Creek, by this time, you know what I mean by creek. This is exactly what I mean by creek. Pardon. This is what I mean by creek. I already said it. Home pips reclaimed ICRT. Now, in fact, I don't even put that CRT. The reason why I put the CRT is for the algorithm. Otherwise, it's just CR, range, right? Which the institutions use to trade, right? So it's not really candle range. So this from here, let me show you something. From here, from this low to this high is a candle range. From this high to this low is a candle range. From this to this is a candle range. From this to this is a candle range. So these are various candle languages. So if I put look at that, you can see inside this candle, what can you see? You can see numbers, right? You can see numbers. And what are these numbers? These are prices. These are prices. And understand that on the chart, what and what formulates or what forms the chart? We have we have the year, we have the month, we have the day before we talk about the prices, right? Then we talk about the volume. So why are these information necessary? They are necessary because everything we see on this chart right now, they are numbers. And this is why we see we have different candles, different patterns. So for example, you can see in trading view, this is not all the this is not all the candlestick types. For example, these are not all the candlesticks type. These are some. They are more complex ones than the ones that are on here. Some of these ones, if I put them on, will you understand them? Okay, for example, this. Do you understand? Will you understand this particular one? Will you understand what you are seeing here right now? So what if I say this is a range? From what if I say from here to this high is a range? From here to this high is a range? From this high to this low is a range? I'll be correct, right? Yes. So that's exactly what I want you to get. I want you to understand that we do some of these things because we want to communicate them better. Okay, so for example, this is a form of candle, right? There are other ones. This is area. You see, some of you are familiar. Some of us, if you if you ever traded binary options, you should be familiar with this particular chart. You know, there are different types. You know, but the popular one is the candlesticks, the Japanese candlestick. All right. So we have different kind of candles right on the chart, different types, right? So the popular one we have is the Japanese candlestick, which is this. Now, having said that, I said that just to point things out to you that everything we are doing on the chart, they are well calculated. Like they are numbers, they are hidden numbers that are inside all of these candles, and that's why I showed you. So inside these candles, there are prices, there are numbers, and beyond the prices, there are literal numbers like 25, 35, 55, and this is what you see in footprint chart. How many of you have seen footprint chart? Exactly, which I can show you from here. Yeah, I can show you from here, but It's not available on this mine. Yep, as you can see, it's not available on this plan, and I don't need it, right? But it gives you an idea of where the exact liquidity is in each of these candles. But now that we don't have access to that, or we don't want to use that, how then, what are the best way to be able to pick those things? There are different ways, and one way is to understand them mathematically. Of course, I'm not showing us that, I'm not teaching us that, and we can understand them without the mathematics behind it. By studying the candles, which we have been doing for years, we'll be able to get all of that. And another thing that will help is the ideology of each candle. So, for example, see this candle wicks. This candle wicks. What do you think is inside this candle? Do you think it's buyers or sellers? Somebody respond. Who is here? Who is here? Who is here? Is it buyers or sellers? Sellers. How do we know it's sellers? And how do you know it's sellers? We don't know. We don't know until the numbers are revealed. That's a fact. That's a fact. Like, we really don't know if it's sellers that are here or buyers. And why did you say sellers? You said sellers probably because this candle was bearish. But what if I told you that this candle is buyers that are in this candle? Will you believe me? Of course, let's not go to all of that today. All right, that's just to give you an ideology. You can see this huge candle, and this huge candle, as big as this candle is to the upside, can be a selling candle. Because what the market makers does is that they influences price, and they use numbers to influence price. Sometimes they might want to sell, but for them to sell, they will need to mitigate the current buys. So who will mitigate the current buys? Sellers, of course. So they will have to push the price to mitigate the current buys in order to push price down. Why? That's the concept of liquidity, because you will need liquidity to do that. That's the concept of liquidity, right? So that's exactly the ideology behind ICRT. So I just said something right there now. That's the concept behind the ICR, right? Which is the candle ring. This is a candle ring, from here to here is a candle ring, but we don't know if it is buyers or sellers that are there, because we are seeing, looking at the bear chart. If you go to the futures chart, I mean, of you know what a futures chart is, for example. If you go to the futures chart, you are going to notice a whole lot of things, that this particular candle you are seeing here is literally different from what's on the futures chart. Just to give you an idea of what I'm telling you, let me show you real quick. Say this is a futures chart. We need to look for, this is futures chart for gold. Don't worry, come with me. You want to learn, right? You will learn. I will teach you. I'm willing to teach you. And if I teach you and study, you're gonna be good. All right, so let me show you something. This futures chart you are seeing here, this one on my right, this particular one right here, that has GC1. This is the futures chart for gold. Now, this is the real data. It's different from this one. If this one shows you a break of structure, it's obviously that there's a break of structure here. I wish we can just see the exact example here. I don't know why the cursor is showing different. Yes. Okay, see now. Now look at something. You see what's showing here? Showing that, let's do it together. Showing that there is break of structure here. Okay, yes. This two is showing the same thing. It's showing the same thing. But don't worry, I will drive my point and you understand what I mean. This one on the right, this GC1, is the real pricing. However, it's not even the real one, because these are in affiliation with TradingView. TradingView does not give you the real data. Like, it doesn't give you the raw data. How many of you know what Sierra chart is? Have you ever heard of Sierra chart before? Of course, over 80% of us here, you have not heard about Sierra chart. In fact, 90% you have not heard of Sierra chart. Sierra chart shows you the real data of the market. Like, any candle you see in Sierra chart, that's the real institutional candle. Of course, it's not free. It's not free. I bought it some years back, and it's not free, because I'm always mobile. I didn't have the luxury. Now I can do it, right? But then I didn't have the luxury to be moving with to be doing all of those stuff. I'm just giving you something to think about. And of course, I will show you where and why the ICRT is very powerful. Why the Comet Pips, let me put the name very well. Comet Pips ICRT, why is very powerful. So you see this futures chart you are seeing on my right. This literally shows us the true price. Yes, this is an example. Let me give you an example. You see, this is the high. Can we use that? Is that a perfect example now? For this, let's use this. Yes. Exactly. Let's use this. I think it's not noticeable, but it's something. It's not that noticeable, but it's something. It's something. Now, this is not like correlation. No, this one here that has GC1. This is the real price data. This one here is a different price data, and that's what the brokers use to manipulate us. Hey, yeah, some of you are hearing that for the first time. That the broker uses these candles. Of course, some of us already know that, right? Brokers use these candles to manipulate us. And this is why this is a myforex.com broker on the left. If you use Pepperstone, you might see a different price data. So ask yourself the question, where are they getting the data feed from? They are getting it from a source. Now, what they do is they use that particular data that they are having, they manipulate it within their own system. And this is why sometimes you will see in forex.com this candle would take this high. Why in probably Pepperstone or Owando, or as the case may be, you will notice that nothing like that. Why? Because each of these brokers, they have different price points with which they manipulate the market. You understand? So you might be asking, how is this information important to me? It's very important to you because you know what they do. And this is why sometimes it seems as if you missed your setup. Sometimes it's not because if you go and check another broker, you notice that same zone you thought you missed, there was a tap that same zone. You notice exactly. Let me show you. See this data, see this zone, right? This one on forex.com is very, very smooth, very smooth. But what do you notice on the futures chart? Remember, these are futures of gold. So if this does not move, this will not move. Of course, the futures chart on TradingView is delayed by 15 minutes. Just to tell you that even the TradingView is not providing us the real data. It's delayed by 15 minutes. Okay, so notice this same candle you see here is what you're seeing here right now. What do you notice? You see that there is a little bit of difference. In the futures chart here, you see that the closing price of this candle is a bit higher than the opening price. Why is the one from forex.com is literally equal? Do you notice that? Now, it is something. It is showing us something. This one is the real data. This one to my right, this GC one is the real data. The futures chart is the real data. So, in fact, institutions, they don't analyze with these brokers that we use. They use real data because with real data, if your entry gives you real data, it will tap it and move. But on these brokers, what happen is that they will manipulate, do all sort of things just to ensure you are, you get afraid so that you can go out of the market. So I think we've said enough there. We've said enough there. Don't worry, we'll come back to class. We'll come back to class. But one thing quickly for those of you who want to check it out is you can find it on TradingView. Just type this, all right, and you'll see the futures chart. But little disclaimer: the futures chart on TradingView is delayed by 15 minutes. What does that mean? It means that when this candle prints, this one is still forming. Yes, so you will not see the most current data from here when this is forming. However, if you want to know, okay, where will MSNR trader come closer? Let's say you pick this as your key level, or let's say you pick this as your A-shaped level, right? You can look for that on the futures chart. It will give you the real data, like real data. This is real data. So that's just an example. So let's go. How did we get here? Right. So why is ICRT important? It's important because it shows us where price was manipulated. It shows us where the institutions literally got involved and they manipulated price. How do we know that? It's easy. All right. 1 minute. How many of us are still following?
Follow.
Okay, now let's come to this. Let me just show us. Let's go straight to the point because I know some of you are already tired. You're bored. You don't want all the boring stuff. You want the flashy stuff, So let's get on the flashy stuff. Since some of us maybe you are bored. You don't know. You don't want to know why. You don't want to know the reason why. But anyway, so this is the Common Pips ICRT. So we want to look for the creep, which is the reclaimed ICRT. How do we look for that? We look for that by waiting for this swing low to be broken. So once this swing low is broken, it means that we are ready for sales. Okay, that's the meaning. So just like this is broken, we are ready for sales. So are we going to sell from here? Obviously not. We are going to wait for price to come back to our what? To our ICRT candle, which is rather to a creek candle right there. So when price get there, we can start looking for something else. So in this case, price never got there, but no matter what, anytime price get there, we are good to go. All right, so remember we're looking for that on the what, on the 1 hour. So let's see. All this why there's nothing there, nothing formed there. Now there's something else I need to point out to you. Okay, no, I will not show us that model today because you will just get confused. Okay, you will get confused. So let's go look for, so that's exactly how to identify the creek. That's how to identify the creek. So let's see, is there another one? So this one is CRT. So if price breaks this high, then we have creek right there. I will do it over and over again, so long you will be able to understand. To have this. Okay, sorry. Let's look for, yes, this is what we actually have two here. So this is ICRT, this is ICRT, and the break of this swing, this the swing that formed it, that becomes what? That becomes our creek, which means that we are ready to what? To short. So where do we short from? We short from this candle. So this is the candle, and of course extension, this is also the candle. But in this case, we notice that this ICRT candle is the same as the swing. But also, if you noticed, we have, yeah, so it's safe to say that this is our zone. Can you see? So immediately price got there, what happened? Immediately price got there, there was what? There was a reaction. Can you see that? So what do? You go to 5 minutes. I'm showing you how to confirm now so that you can at least enter with good risk to reward ratio. So that was the tap, right? You need to look for just 5 minute ICRT and you are good. At least for this model, you are good. There are other models, there are other things you need to pay attention to as well. For this, can you see? This is what ICRT. This is ICRT. So we actually have two ICRT there. Now, what do? Take notes. There's an exception. This is just a one candle before price got there. So obviously, we are not going to enter on that because most time price is going to use that high as inducement. Believe me, go to your chart, go and study. Price will use that high as your inducement. Price will use that high as your inducement and move away. Now remember we said this is also a, okay, of course that already pushed twice the same zone. So of course your entry will have to be above. You look for a place to enter and see where is price reacting from. ICRT. Can you see that? That's how we do it. So this alone, if you study it, I want to see that you actually studying this thing, guys. Go and study. So in order not to stress it too much, let's look for one more because I'm a bit, physically tired. I've been on this call for hours just to ensure we trade together, right? All right. All right. Let's look for, this is CRT, right? But this is not our creek. This is not reclaimed ICRT. So that's not our model. That's not our model. Of course, there are other models for that. Then what is this? This is ICRT. This is our creek. So in the future, we should expect price to come, tap this and push away. Okay. Take note, this already tapped before, so this is not what we're looking at. Let's go. We look for the bullish one if it's possible. Yeah. So we have a nice ICRT right there, right? And we have the break is ICRT. We have the break of the swing, this swing. So this is our right there. So where are we looking for the buys? We're looking for the buys from this. Where is the candle? Okay, there's a candle right there. So this is our ICRT reclaim right there. What happened? Let's cut that. What happened? Price taps it, boom, and pushes away. How do you enter? Come to 5 minutes. That's how you enter. Wait for the tap. Of course, you can decide to enter directly if you want to, but make sure you must have studied and know conditions with which you do that, right? So that you know best place to put your stops. That's it. From that same zone. Of course, you don't need to target all these is high if it, like, you don't need to, right? The most important thing is consistency from the market, right? Just like that. Then what else are you looking for? You look for simple ICRT from Come Pips. Is there anyone here? No ICRT here except for this one. That's ICRT right there. But notice that in this case, this one is very, very long. I guess probably is the news, but that is very, very long, but that's to tell you, yeah, CRT. Most times it will usually use 50% of that particular ICRT. 50%, usually 50%, usually 50%. Okay, so that's it. For it, see it here, see ICR, see ICRT, see ICRT. So let's say you do not enter that, maybe because you're contemplating, because this candle is really huge, right? Nonetheless, 50%, like I said, I stated it earlier, even before we saw that. And just put a little bit buffer below that. Do your back test, do your learning, and you will see the difference. Yeah. So this is Comepips model 2. This Comepips model 2. This part of the trading protocol. And believe me, there are a lot. There are a lot to learn. There are a lot to learn. Even within this, there are a lot to learn. You know, there are things you need to know as well. But with this, I believe you'll be able to make progress. Just go to your chart, look for those specific things, stick to it, and you'll notice a difference in your trading. All right. So before I allow you to ask your question, for those of you who are live, remember you are here because you want to learn. You are here because you want to grow. So that's why I'm teaching you now. So go and study. Go and study. All right. So the Lord bless you. I'll give you a few minutes to ask your question before I shut down. If you have a question, please kindly ask.
So I have a question.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm going back to rewatch this video because you said you'll post it on YouTube, I think, for it to and rewatch it. But my concern is about that market manipulation. How do you avoid that fear? Because now we're using only we only use one reference. That is where we get our trades from. That is from our okay, the ones who give us this the market that you're using. Maybe I don't know whether you're using which type of market that you're using, but how do you avoid that kind of manipulation? Or fine, we can't avoid it, but how do you sustain it and say, okay, let's take on? Where do you get that confidence? For you are using two of them to make sure that you compare, or you only use one and stick to that, knowing that in the back of your mind you know very well that I'm being manipulated, so I will continue just trading. I don't know if you get it.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you. If I get your question, do you mean based on this strategy?
That one.
Okay, this one. Okay. Now you don't know the one that will be manipulated because this is strictly based on ICRT. Therefore, what do we do? We need to first, like I said, to come to 1 hour. You just need to make sure that the 1 hour gives you creek. If the 1 hour gives you the pips reclaimed ICRT, I've cancelled the vagueness of where price wants to go to next by 50%. That 5 minutes we are going to is just to confirm, to know when to enter, to know if it's going to be violated or not. But more often than not, it will not. Right? Understand? It will react. So basically, you need to first train yourself how to see and identify the reclaimed ICRT. Once you're able to do that, you've cancelled the whole stuff by 50%. Then, for example, see this. Let's say I want to enter, okay, like this. You see that I want to enter here, like I said, 50% of that particular ICRT, that is your confirmation. 50% of that zone, enter from there. You don't just, normally I'm not expecting price to violate this candle if it wants to buy, but you see, in the beginning of the video, I explained to us how different brokers manipulate price. I explained to us. So you see one of the importance. So what I do is I give it space. I have a measuring tool and see it right there that I use to map. Okay, I'm entering there. There's possibility that price might not get here, and if price gets here, then it means the whole zone is violated. All right, so that's one way you can avoid manipulation from the market. Talking about confidence, confidence comes with knowledge, comes with what you know, and it also comes with your experience. What I mean experience, you need to go and study, backtest it, get data, backtest 30 trades, 100 trades with just this same method. You will know the things that are working and things that will not work. For example, you know that it's not going to literally work most times. If I think I gave the example, where was the example? Was it here? I can't recall. I gave an example, an instance, that we're not going to buy because we saw that particular ICRT, because it was just a one candle break, and most times when that happens, it serves as liquidity. All right. So yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah. So any more questions?
So is there like a difference between the KYC and ICRT?
Pardon?
I mean, is there like a difference between the reclaimed ICRT and normal ICRT?
Bro, yes, there's a difference. But I don't think you're supposed to be asking this question because I took my time to explain this even before we moved on. Unless you are not paying attention. There's a difference. Now I'm hungry. I'm hungry because of your question. So this is reclaimed ICRT and this is regular ICRT. See the difference. See the difference. We have regular ICRT and when that high is broken, that becomes reclaimed ICRT. Do you understand now? I want to take that as a yes, even though I did not hear you. Any more question? Do you still have question, guys? Okay, so I'll take that as a no. All right, thank you so much for joining in. This is Comment Pips. Please watch the video again. I will try to upload this particular one on YouTube. Watch it again, and if you are watching from YouTube, remember this is Comment Pips, and go and study this. Ask your question in the comment, and feel free if you want to join our team. You want to join the mentorship trading protocol to learn all my trading models and the systematic approach. Then feel free to reach out to us. Check video description for details. See you on the profitable sides of the market.